Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines 2 playing our beautiful city of Second City. We have a little fire over here in the Narrows, so hopefully that gets put out soon. Let's go ahead and just let the simulation begin to run. In the last part, we built out Warehouse Bend, we built out Sheffield, we built out a little bit more of Cyprus. This is really starting to come together, but I think today we're going to take a complete break, a step back, if you will, from essentially all building. I know we desperately need more low density housing. I want to start breaking out this way to build some suburbs. I also want to do the same on this side of the city. But before we even get to doing any of that, I've heard a few of you in the comments say we need better public transportation. We already have buses and we have regional rail. And for today, I think we're going to stick with what we already have. I'm happy with where the rail is, but I do think our bus networks just need a complete overhaul. So what I am going to get into, and I think what we're going to spend most of the day doing, is buses. We're going to keep bus line 4, and I'm actually going to rename this bus. This is going to be the external connection. Bam. It has a lot of usage. With the new patch that's supposed to be coming out on March 25th, hopefully some of our homelessness issues will be resolved. But for now, I think what we do is just go in and we delete all 3 of our current bus routes. I know, controversial, crazy. Why would he do that to himself? Well, I think we can do better. So I want to go through and right off the bat, just delete all the bus stops. Get rid of them. This bus stop is the only bus stop functioning on a line that's still active. Yeah, this line goes up and out of the city. I might even try to rework that line a little bit. It looks like it's doing some wonkiness right here, but for now, we're going to leave that all be. Let's just try to figure out what we want to do for our buses. Now, we have 2 bus depots. We have this one here, which has 35 available buses, and we have a second one right over here in Middle Peak, which has 25 available buses. So we've got the buses. We just need to set them up in a better way. How? I have no idea. I do know eventually we're going to add in some metro, and I know we're going to probably add in some trolleys as well. So there's some old bus stops. Get rid of those. There's going to be some additional buses that are added, public transit that's added to our city. But for now, bus stops keep appearing in places I thought they were already gone. Okay, let's try this again. How are we looking now? Better? The same? Worse? Okay, I think we got rid of them all. All right, so let's think about how we want to do this. So right now we have this pretty dense area of the city. It's filled with residents, it's filled with businesses, and thinking about how Philly's bus network is set up, SEPTA, at least in the heart of the downtown, there's a lot of buses that go back and forth, up and down portions of the city. Because we already have a train line that goes technically up and down. There's a stop here, a stop here, a stop down this way. We have another one here with the train station over here that also comes down here. I think what we want to see is bus lines that go kind of left to right on the screen as it currently sits. So I think we try to figure that out first. To do that, I'm going to want to leverage some of these roads that cross over the train tracks here. Being able to cross this divide from Boulder Hill over into the downtown is going to be valuable. So I think we start there. Let's start with a bus stop that begins over here by our schools. So I'm going to place one, I think, on this side street maybe. We'll place it up here near the top and begin to send this bus line down this way. There's some business over here, but overall, heavily residential neighborhood. And so we're going to start curving down this direction. And I think I'm going to bring one more bus stop down. I don't want to anarchy it in, so I'm going to place it right here. Gives us about, 1, 2-ish, maybe 3 blocks from here down this direction. The bus line is going to come near the hospital, but we're actually going to go just past the hospital and we'll stop right here, servicing the hospital, servicing this elementary school. We've got a park and ride right here. It's even relatively close to this community building. I think then we'll send it across the main street and we'll send it down over into Horsham Flats, and we'll have one more over here. This feels a little tight, too close to this guy, so we'll send one right here to the end of the road, servicing this section of Bedford. This bus is then just going to come right back. I'm going to zoom in here and get a better view. We'll place one right here on this edge. We'll come over here into Longview, get one close to the hospital entrance, come in here into Boulder Hill. And now we've got a connection that's going to go kind of left to right between this area of the city, moving people along this road. The next connection we have is right over here. What is this road called? Can we see easily? No. Of course we can't. Whatever this road is. This road actually also connects into our industrial area. So what I think we do is we start over here in our industry. I'm going to start this bus station right here. Reason being, the buses could then turn and loop back around on themselves. This will be the kind of terminus bus station for this area. That bus line is going to come down this direction. We will have a stop over here. That way people can... Is that the right direction? That is. Okay, great. That way people can then come down this way, stop over here by these businesses. It'll come along this direction, and I think we will have one that stops here in this section of Boulder Hill. It's not super close to these higher density buildings, but it's only a block away. I don't think that's too far. We'll cross over into the Wilmar district, and I think we'll place a bus stop right here just before our Maple Avenue. This is going to service this elementary school. I believe this might be a signature building of some kind. I think that's a strong place for that bus stop. It'll keep coming forward, and it's going to stop right over here in front of our two low rent houses, but also very close to our high school, as well as the parking garage we have right here. That's so far a pretty decent ride, but I think we could take this a little bit further, and we could send this bus stop down over here into Cypress. Now, I think the best way to do this would be to send the bus stop down and over and have it connect over this way. This would put us right at this intersection across from a crematorium. It's getting pretty dark. I guess because it's winter. Right by our crematorium. It would also service the high school pretty well. There's a pool right here. And then if you just walked a short distance, you could get down to this train. So let's go ahead and place a bus stop right here on this corner. That may be the terminus bus stop, or actually what we could do. And for these areas where we're going to delete buildings and all those trees, I will use anarchy. But I think what we could do is we could have this somewhat loop back on itself. Is there an easy way to make that happen? Actually, we could have this bus, then turn, come down here. Let's turn on anarchy. We could have it stop right in front of the train entrance, and it would actually be right aligned with this pathway. So I think we'll place a bus stop right here. It'll come back over. It's going to move up this way into the Narrows, and I think we will make a single stop in the Narrows, although we can't place it here, so it's going to go on this small side road here. If I turn anarchy off, can this actually fit here? It can. All right, then I think we do it. Place a bus stop there, servicing the narrow neighborhood, and then we're going to move back up and around this way. The only downside here is there is a bit of traffic, typically on this intersection in particular. It does seem to have died down some, but we may need to keep an eye on that in the future. We're then going to come back up this direction. We're going to have another bus stop. Do I want to have it here? No. We're going to have this bus stop over here. Reason being, I like the trees along this road. I can't really put my cursor on it or I'll just make them disappear, but those beautiful trees right there I want to keep. We'll have a bus stop here, servicing that park. Let's just go find its sister stop. Right here is perfect. Find the other sister stop right up here. Perfect. And then we're going to come back up into this area. We will have another bus stop over here. I'm not concerned about these ruining the parking here because these two sides of this road have key walls, so there was no parking there to begin with. It's going to come back over here and stop at this terminus station. Let's go ahead and set those two up just so that we have them ready to go. For this area, I think what we could get away with is kind of expanding the reach of this bus station or bus network on its way back. Let's place one additional bus stop right over here. This area, although it's still not fully developed, is pretty dense. So I think we could place a bus stop right here, have that bus move over onto this street, come down and turn off. That way we're kind of servicing that area pretty well. So now we've got two left to right bus lines. I think let's actually move to the north here for a moment. I'm going to want to have a bus line that interacts with this particular train station navigates its way through Ortega and Alexandria, and then somehow comes over here and interacts with Sheffield and Warehouse. So moving people left to right. I think we can start that easily by putting a bus line right in front of the train. That was set up kind of for that reason. We just never got around to it. So we'll start one there. That bus line will then, do we have any roads that cross over here? Not really. This is the first one, and that's pretty far down. So I think we're going to want to use this line. But before we do that, I think we'll have this bus maybe turn out of here. And I believe it can use both those roads. It can. All right, it's going to turn out of here. And I think we'll have that bus come maybe down here by the school. By the park, by this crematorium, and there's also somewhat of a small commercial strip here. It's starting to snow. We love it. And once it goes here, I think it will need to come back up and out. So we could even consider just placing another stop over this way. These are relatively close, but if you're going this direction, that might actually be quite useful. I would even consider, you know what? Let's actually undo that. I'm actually going to back this up. I could see this being more valuable down here, closer to all of the commercial and the offices that are right here in this neighborhood of Ortega. Then this is going to come down this main road. Let's get rid of this transportation overlay. It's going to come down this main road. Now we do have a high school. I think that's a high school right down here. So I wouldn't mind this turning and then coming over and through this neighborhood. The best place to do that would either be on this road or along Sheffield Street. And I'm starting to think that Sheffield Street would be the better play because even though we have this train line, there's no trains in this area. So why don't we take this line, it would come down this way, and it would have to turn down this road. So we could, I think, I want to keep it on these side roads, and maybe we'll navigate over to this street. No, here's what we're going to do. We're going to place this bus stop right here. We're then going to send it down this road and place a second one all the way over here, right in front of this high school. What's also good about this is this bus stop is now connected almost to this pedestrian path, which leads over to this area and begins to connect the second part of the city there. Then we need to send it over this direction. I think we place one right over here. It removes a ton of parking. That's okay. We can always come back and fix that. Maybe we'll do that in a detailing episode. And then this will come all the way across this bridge and make a stop either here or down here. I think we're going to make a stop, auto save. I think we're going to make a stop right here, which is actually great because since there's a bend here, there's another node, and so the parking is still able to stay along this main street. Now we're going to take this, and I think we are going to send it slightly down into Warehouse Bend. I think we get away with a stop maybe right here. Let's turn Anarchy on for this. It's going to stop right in front of the police station. And then I think this line is actually going to do something a little bit different than the others in that it's also going to stop right here on this corner next to the high school and next to these pedestrian facilities. It's then going to come back around, I think, this way, stop over here on this tiny small side street, be able to come over here and stop right in front of our train station, which I think is super valuable. And then we'll then come back up and begin to work its way back. So it can come up this way. We have a stop here. I think we can put a second stop across the street. That way we preserve the parking around the park. It'll then make this turn here. And I don't want to mess up these trees as much as possible, but I do think we need another stop over here. I think we're going to do it. I think it's too important not to. We'll send it back over. Here we are going to stop on this block, mainly because I like the idea of like this stop is servicing more this area, this stop is servicing this area. I know buses don't really work in that way, but in my mind they do. Let's go ahead and place another bus stop over here. Let's come back up this way. These ones are quite close together. I don't know if I love that. I think what I would rather do, get rid of that stop, and instead place another stop over here along this side street. It'll come back up this way and reconnect into our train station. All right, for this one, I'm feeling like this could be like a fun purple line. I think that would be really cool. Okay, I don't know if I like or hate that we've got the snow because it is hard to see these lines. But we now have a line kind of going this direction. It intermingles with this yellow line that's going this direction, and we have a green line going this direction. I think we do need another line that's going to kind of come through Briarwood. Maybe, would it interact with the college? I think it would. I think what I would want to see is a line that leverages this stop to then come down over through Willow Terrace into the Briar Downs and then come down into Elizabeth Crossing. And maybe what we do, I mean, we're having a whole other death wave, and I didn't realize Anarchy was on for all that. Whoopsie. Let's see. If it starts here, it could loop over this direction. We can't stop on any of these roads, but we could stop right here. Or we could stop right here. That's a little close. Eventually, this will be filled out with cars. So I think what we'll do is we'll place, or houses, we'll place one right in the middle. So it'll start here. It'll snake its way over to this stop, at which point it's then going to curve, kind of come in on itself. I think we'll have a stop here right across from the high school. And then I want to use a line that comes kind of all the way through this area. Right now, Elizabeth Crossing hasn't fully expanded, but I think we'll use this road right here. We're a block away from the college. I think that's okay. It's going to come straight. We'll stop it right here on this corner. We'll send it straight down. We'll send it over the train tracks. And maybe we send it kind of right here into this central area. So stop there, stop there. Then this is going to cut over, and we are going to have a stop that's right over here in this area. A little bit far away, but the few residents that are here and these businesses, I think will appreciate it. Then we're going to send this line right back up, essentially. But what we'll do is we'll place these stops on the opposing block. So we'll have one there. We'll have one here. Then we're going to come back over this direction. We'll have one on this side of the road. It'll cross back over and come around this direction and connect up here. Then we'll reconnect into that stop. All right, for this one, why don't we go ahead and make this, we already have a green up here, so let's go ahead and make this like a kind of like a salmony red color maybe. Now we're servicing that area. Now what we need to consider is what are we doing about South 2nd and actually I think this whole neighborhood is South 2nd. So what are we doing about South 2nd? South 2nd is going to want to have connections to the rest of the city. And I think what we could do is send 2 different bus lines out of South 2nd. So the first one, and I think for at least the beginning part here, they're going to use the exact same connections. I wouldn't mind sending it along this main road, although the problem is we're not really meeting the needs of the people. So I think we could go along this line, this road here, just 1 block away from that major road. The first one will be right up here at the top. We're going to send it next to, I think this is an elementary school. We've got a parking garage and we have our clinic. Then we're going to come 2 or 3. 2 or 3. If we do 3, if we do 2, let's do it this way. If we do 2, I'd want 1 more. If we do 2, I think we could get away with just having these 2 stops. So let's do just 2 stops. We'll place this stop right here. It's then going to come up this road and it's going to begin to go this direction. We'll place 1 stop right here near the Narrows, near this park, near this firehouse. It's going to then find its way along this road here. I think it will connect into this stop and come down to the train, or better yet, I think we throw on Anarchy. I think it's going to come right along this main avenue. It'll stop here. Does it also need to stop there? Actually, I don't think we need this stop at all. It's going to come along the main avenue. It's going to stop right here. It's gonna, there's 2 stops so close to each other. I know they're serving separate lines and that's okay. I guess I'm fine if it touches both. It's gonna stop at both of those stops. And then we're gonna actually send it all the way over to here and let it engage this section of Sheffield. It's gonna loop around And we're going to have one more stop tucked away here in Sheffield before it comes back down, leverages this stop, and begins to move back this way. It'll stop here. It will also stop here. It's going to come back along this road. There's no development there. There's no need for an additional stop. I think we'll stop it right here near the Narrows. And then when we come back this way, I think we'll curve back in. We'll stop right here, come back down, and we'll stop right here. Although we do have this entrance. So I think for this one, we're going to stop it right in front of the medical center, and then it can dead end here for now. Or we could consider sending this line maybe over this direction, have it stop here, and then we'll send it back. This line, we're in South 2nd. Let's do like a fun blue, maybe a little bit darker than what we've done before. All right, so we now have that line, but then I also want to be able to send the people of South 2nd into the downtown. And I think the best way that we could do that would be to consider sending a line that goes through Middle Peak. But the question becomes, does it go through Middle Peak and connect over onto this Briarwood line? Or does it go through Middle Peak and connect somehow over onto the Longview line? I don't know what would be the right answer, because we could use basically all of these stops, and then we could send it over here. I think I would want to send it over here, and I would want to maybe go up this road here. I'm trying to purposefully avoid this major road because in the future, again, we're going to do trams and subways, and I want to leverage that road for that purpose. Although it wouldn't hurt to have it maybe touch these two sections of road and then curve over, maybe go up here. Or it could kind of like become a shoehorn and go like this. Or, better yet, even though we're going to have a subway, we could make a line that goes basically all the way down Maple Street, I believe is what this is. It could start here. We already have a spot for that. It would come down this direction. I don't see a need to stop here. So what it would do is it would come maybe just before this road to allow people to turn off and go down that direction. It would then come down into the heart of the downtown. I think we would stop right here. It would then cross over the bridge, and it would stop here, very close to these other stops. It would go down these 2 blocks, and I think stop here, go down these 2 blocks, and we're going to redevelop these blocks, so I think we'll have it stop right here. I'm fine with that. Once it's stopped there, it's going to cross underneath of the highway. I don't see a reason for us to stop anywhere along here. And it's going to then come over this direction and connect into these stops. Because this bus stop is along this road, I'm going to place an additional stop right here. That will then connect into this stop and come over here, then come back up. It'll touch this stop. It'll touch this stop. On its way back up, we are going to stop here. I know right now there's nothing here. Eventually, we will build out the Evergreen Terrace. It's going to move along this road over to here. Do I want it to stop here? Or do I want to offset these a bit? No, I think we'll stop it there. We'll send it straight on up. Our next stop is actually quite far, but we'll send this to this location. We'll send this one up to this location. We'll cross over this bridge and stop right here. We may need to anarchy this one in here. That's okay. It'll come back up this direction. It'll stop right here. And then that's going to send itself right back over here and reconnect here. Let's go ahead and do this one. It's a maple. So I think this would be like a red maple color. Maybe it'll be a bit deeper than the others. But I'm thinking like a maple leaf. We've got a line that kind of services Trafford College, but they have a dedicated train station, so I'm not super concerned there. We have a line that goes, 2 lines that come out of south. They cross into Cypress and Warehouse Bend. And then we also have a line coming from Blackwood Corner over into this area. Now, we don't yet have a connection over into Northfield, Part of that is intentional. Until we build out the rest of this area and understand what this looks like, I'm not ready to give this its own line. One thing we could consider doing is potentially bringing this external connection off the highway briefly and then back on. But I think my only concern there is that I don't want to do that. I have a really big idea for this area that's gonna mean moving this bad boy, and I just am not ready to do that. So I think we're gonna leave that alone. I think now let's go ahead and just name all of these stations. So our first station, this yellow station, if we turn, I think, everything off, turn this guy back on. Although I think we closed the overview, and so it hid it from me. There we go. This line is going from Blackwood Corner over to Cypress. With that in mind, I think we named this Blackwood Cypress. Now, back in the day, I had like fun naming conventions, and I don't even remember what those were anymore. So we're just going to do it this way. Blackwood-Cypress. Then we have this line, which goes from Willow Terrace into Bedford. So we'll do Willow Terrace, Bedford. Then we have our third line here. Let's see this guy. It's purple. This is coming from Ortega all the way down into Cypress, which I love that we have that connection now. So let's go ahead and click into here. Ortega, Cypress. Okay, our next line we have, bus line 5, is going from Willow Terrace down into really Pinewood Acres. Then we have bus line 6. Bus line 6 is moving along Sheffield all the way into South 2nd. Bus line 7, this line here is along Maple Street. So this is just going to be called the Maple Street line. And then we have our external connection. All right, so we've gone from having only 3 intercity lines or intracity lines with 1 external line to now having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to now having 6 intracity lines with 1 external city line or inner city line. All right, already some of these are really outperforming themselves. We're gonna let this run a little bit, and then we'll come back in a minute and see how things are looking. But first, I would like to go ahead and just redevelop these 3 blocks. If I was smart, I didn't put any, yes, okay, I was smart. I didn't put any buses on these lines. I didn't want to have buses on these lines because I wanted to make sure we could make this area look a bit nicer, which, who knows, it may mean changing the roads in the future. But for now, I just want to get rid of everything that's here and begin to think about this transition. We're starting to see some higher density in this area, and I think honestly eventually all of this is going to be high density. So I do want this to be medium density, but when we have these curved roads, it does pose a little bit of a challenge because it's not that easy to build along curved roads. I am going to, for now, completely get rid of that road. We're then going to undo this zoning that we had here. And I also think I'm going to, I don't need to even pause this. I'm going to get rid of this road and that small little nubbin. And we're going to send 2 perfectly straight roads. One from here, and we'll send another one. I think this one's just going to be straight along this other road here. I think that's much better. Look at all the people we've displaced. Guys, I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. There's so many upset people. Sorry, guys. Oh my God, we really took a hit. So let's see if we've made any progress towards, this is probably the wrong time to look at this, our unemployment. Actually, not too bad. Not too bad. What I want to see here, I think is a transition neighborhood. These buildings here, these NA mixed houses, these are a really great height for what's happening over here. I wouldn't mind trying to use either the NA mixed housing, or we could use some of the USA medium density row homes or the USA medium density housing. Let's, along this road, we've got a nice solid set of zoning there. So I think for both of these, let's place the medium density housing. Let's let that fill in, and then we can kind of work around it. And I think I do want to see some more larger buildings kind of beginning to crop up somewhere. I don't know if this is the right block for that. This very much feels like this block should be a little bit smaller and a little bit lower density. So why don't we use the northeast mixed use housing? I don't think along this section of Maple I'm going to need anyone living there. So because we have a bus stop there and that's already limiting parking, I think we upgrade both of these sections just like so. That frees up a huge block of zoning for us right here where we could place the USA Northeast mixed use housing. That's going to solve some commercial demand. It's also going to solve some of that medium density demand. There's so many people over here trying to figure out where they're going to go. I'm so sorry. Behind here, we don't have a ton of parking, and I will say we can go ahead and begin to remove some of this zoning in areas that is not being utilized. It helps me to figure out exactly where certain things should go. So it's always better for me if I can just remove some of that zoning in advance. Let's send this straight along the back here. And we'll also send another one straight along the back here. I knew that's a little weird. It creates a really intense set of intersections. But I think what we can do is we can just begin to remove some of these crosswalks, at least on the north-south, and that will make it look a little bit better. We'll replace our small little key walls, and then I think to make this even denser, first, one of these is going to need to have parking. I think that's going to be, actually, you know what? I think we just do one of them with parking, get rid of that. What kind of zoning is afforded to us here? We have a little bit right here. Let's place some more of this NE mixed use. And then along this back road here, I think we jump over into Find It. And I think we use some row homes right here. I'm fine with making this just one long row of exactly the same house. That does not bother me one bit. Let this begin to zone in. 87%. Very soon we're going to see some houses there. This area, I do still think we need offices. But my original plan that I had, where the offices were kind of separated onto a smaller street, I don't think that worked too well. So what I'm going to do instead is we're going to place big offices where we can. Let's just see kind of what gets zoned out, what works. None of this got zoned. This did not get zoned. What can we do with this guy? What will we get? We'll get a small and another small. I don't know if I love that they're smaller. So why don't we do this instead? Let's replace this with some medium or some northeast commercial. Can we get something larger? There we go. I like that. All right. This is beginning to come in. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I was hoping for. That's perfect. All right, so this is going to fill out nicely. Right back here, we already have a field over here, a decent-sized park. So something could go here for sure. And you know what I'm also realizing? We have this section of Oak Lane. There's no reason we couldn't just go like that. It's going to remove that really beautiful building we have there. So instead, what if we just did an alleyway behind it? Would that work? It looks like it would. We're able to do this right here and still keep that larger building. Ooh, no, that did not work. That did not work. Get rid of that. I'm so sorry. Oh, it messed it up. I wanted to see what this was going to be. Let's do that. Let all that fill in. We may need to do some parking and some trees behind here. We'll figure that out in a moment. Right here, I do want to have a few other maybe NA mixed housing units. These are really fantastic. The challenge is going to be finding a way to fit them into this section. If we were to bring this road down and over, I would have to reconnect into here, and I don't necessarily want to do that. What we could do is have a road go kind of straight across this direction, still connect into the alleyway we've created. So now Oak Lane is actually, somewhat usable. I think we would want to limit parking or zoning along this road. And honestly, I want them to be along here as much as possible. I don't want to mess with that section all too much. If I remove this, we then unlock a little bit more space here as well. And let's just do the regular NA mixed use. Place that right there. Now, we've got about 2 tiles. It's going to ruin that building, so we're not going to place it like normal. I'm going to anarchy this right here. It did remove my zoning, but what we should be able to do is scoot this up and out of the way. And then I should be able to come back in here and solve that problem for them. Nice. Okay. Let's get rid of that rogue tree in the middle of the parking lot. And then we're going to just let this little area begin to level up a little bit. Over here, I'm thinking this will probably just get a little bit of a tree treatment. All right, now this area's got a bit more trees, a little bit more density coming in, which is looking fantastic. I also like that we have kind of these, I don't know, community banks, small like dentist office kind of buildings. I think they help a lot with reducing the height of that zoning and just making things cascade really nicely one to the next. Now with that, let's go ahead and just take another look at how our transportation is doing. So I'm going to kind of do this line by line, if I'm being totally honest. Let's look into the Blackwood Cypress line. If I kind of jump over to where this line is, we have a number of vehicles on here. We've got 7. There's a few stops that are busy, but none of the buses are over full. So I think I'm happy with what we've got going on there. Let's go then look at our external. I'm going to skip external. Let's look at the Maple Street line. That has jumped up to 79% usage, which is amazing. One problem we have, though, is that there's a ton of people trying to use these lines. So why don't we go ahead and increase the number of buses here to 12. We're going to let that kind of run. We'll see what happens. Next up on the docket is Ortega to Cypress, 53% usage. Nope. There's a few that are full, and this particular stop by the train station is particularly busy. So let's go ahead and again increase this guy to have maybe 10 buses and see if that does us any good. We've got our Sheffield South second line, which if we jump over, it begins over here in Sheffield. We don't have any completely full buses, but we do have some that are a little bit full. Can I click on just the bus? How are you doing? You've got 23 people. Oh, you let off a ton of passengers. Fantastic. All right, so that's going pretty well. I don't think we need to adjust that at all. Our Willow Terrace Bedford line, if we jump over to this guy, which starts on the other side of the city, it has a total of 3 vehicles. Some of these are getting a little bit busy, but that's only 20 people, 17, 24. All around, I think that's doing just fine. So we'll leave that one alone. And then Willow Terrace to Pinewood Acres. This has very little usage. But then again, this area is much less dense than the rest of the city. So that's really not surprising. It has 5 vehicles, but it really doesn't have a lot of people waiting. So let's remove that or move that down to 3. I think that's a little bit stronger there. This little area here, almost done, looking pretty nice. These people have somewhat of an unfortunate view. How close are you to finishing? Come on. Let's wrap it up. Build your building. Oh. Yes. Yes. Lock that building. You can never level up. You have to stay that. I love that. I will say, I don't know why these buildings zone with like this ugly red color. It's just not for me. So I'm going to paste that color there. That looks really nice. This is looking so much stronger than what we had before. A little bit duplicative with these guys, but I'm not going to stress about it too much. Now what I think we need to think about is what do we do with this little section? We did so much work over the last few parts, kind of finishing out Sheffield, Warehouse Bend, Cypress, and now we've got this little pocket here that we've not really done anything with. I'm thinking, because we are somewhat in the middle of nowhere, we're surrounded by a highway entrance, and there's not a lot of support in this area for pedestrians to do anything. I think we find a way to make this more useful to people in the neighborhood. Let's go ahead and put a retaining wall along this side here. Not a retaining wall, excuse me, a sound barrier along this side here of Victoria Highway. And we're also going to place one along this side here of, I guess, also Victoria Highway. It's a little bit dangerous if you're a driver because we just got this huge wall that you can crash into, but it does allow for the speedy cars coming off the highway not to intersect with any of the people here. Look at all the Maple Street cars. 80, 12, 4, 33. We love it. Now, I think we're just going to fill this in with a little grass. I would like to maybe consider expanding the offerings we have here for the elementary school, but I also think it would be great to place down a child's clinic or a children's clinic, an attached clinic that helps children recover from injuries. Probably should have done that before I did the surface, but because it's just outside of the area we're allowed to place it in, I have to anarchy it in anyway. Accidentally turn off the elementary school first. Anarchy first, then go here, then grab this child's clinic. We're going to place this clinic right here. It's going to function fine enough. It's going to function fine enough. And then I think what we'll do behind it is let's kind of mess around with this surface a little bit and see if we can make something cool with it. And there we go. I think we've kind of made this a bit more of a complex, which I like. We do have way too many Dickinson High School. We still have way too many students. I don't know if I'll ever be able to solve that problem. Every single elementary school is packed to the brim. I am going to go ahead and turn off the rain because I don't want it to rain. Enable custom temperature, custom precipitation 0. Turn the rain off. It just makes too much noise in the background. I can't stand it. All right, so what we're going to do next is I'm actually going to try to fix some of the parking discrepancies we've made here. Let's start with Maple, only because I think that's going to be one of the easiest streets to solve. So we come down here. This actually turns off into this area. This is already upgraded into an asymmetrical road, so we didn't sacrifice parking for that to work. If we come down here, though, you'll see we have this huge bus lane, but there's really no need for no parking there. It doesn't make any sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to just double-click a little bit before, and we've now reduced where that bus lane connects into. It's turned down the speed. I did not mean for that to be on for so long. For this one, we'll leave this way because the bus is stopping right in front. But even here again, we're just going to double click, add a new node there so that our bus is able to make a decent turn. Down this way, we'll do the same. I believe I can just double click here, but I deleted my building, which is not what I meant to do. And then those buildings upgraded. Okay. Please hold. Quick fix. Anarchy. Place. Boom. Done. Does it look as good? I don't know. Back here. All right, so I'm going to come back up this way. This line comes all the way along Maple. We come all the way over to here. There was no parking here to begin with. There was no parking here to begin with, but there was parking along here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn Anarchy on for this. And the reason being, I don't want anything to get deleted. We'll add a node there to support that bus stop. We'll add a node here to support that bus stop. Bring back some of the trees. I'm all for adding new stops to our city and new infrastructure, but I don't want to remove all of our beautiful trees. Add another node there. Perfect. We come over this direction. This bus stop is perfect, but this one removed so much. And now that's going to remove this. We're not going to let it. Hold on. Don't you go anywhere, buddy. There we go. Bam. Okay, unpause. That seemed to have fixed it. All this is good. We do have a really long bus stop there, so we'll place a stop there. This is already a key wall, so that's not impacting anything. Over here, we're totally fine. We also have some bus stops in Ortega. There was one all the way over here. No need for it to be that long, so we'll place a stop there. And then the other stop, do we remember where it was? It's right here. Oh, that's perfect. All right, so Ortega looks pretty good. Alexandria looks like garbage. We want to place one of those here. Allow a little bit of parking there. Come down here. That one's okay. This, we've totally gone crazy. So we're going to place another node right here. And then we're going to place another node right here. That should allow some parking throughout. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. You're against a road. You good? You have power? Okay. We're just complaining for no reason. I'm not going to mess with this underpass here. You're under a bridge. I'm not worried about your parking there. Over here, I'm happy with how that is set up. I'm happy with how the other bus stop we had over here is set up. It's right there. It's already on a key wall. This one's fine. The one I think is a problem, though, is right over... Honestly, nope, that's not too bad. We'll leave that alone. This one's all good. This one's a little intense. There we go. Fix that up just like so. All of that we can leave alone. That one's great. Over here we can leave all that alone. This one does need to be reworked a bit. Great. And the rest I'm going to leave alone. I think they're all good. I have no notes, no edits. Final thing I think we do is we begin to... I'm not going to work on this much just yet, but I do want to purchase a little bit of land. We've got the money. Let's go ahead and purchase these 4 tiles. It's a 74,000 monthly upkeep cost. Is that what I wanted? I think it is. Ooh, yeah. And then I actually want to get the 2 behind it as well. So let's buy these as well. And what we're going to start to do is, at least for the moment, we're going to lay out a little bit of a road network here. We're not going to do any zoning here, but I am going to try to think about what I want this area to look like as it continues to kind of expand into suburbia. I do think it's valuable, though, for us to consider keeping... There's something I do want to turn off. Snap to zoning cells, I believe. I do want to keep in mind that we have a train line coming this direction, and I actually want to make an adjustment here. But we have a train line coming this direction that we're going to want to be careful about. So let's do a little bit of grid work. And the reason I'm thinking we do some grids over here, at least coming from this section, is because of how flat this land is. It's perfectly flat. So let's remove this road, this road, this road, and this road. Yeah. Sorry, you guys gotta move. I just kicked out like 3,000 people earlier. So if kicking out, 50 is not really a problem for me. I have no issue with that. If I were to bring this to here, how far is that, do you think? It's like 115 and some change? Maybe? I think it was just enough, maybe 120, just enough to allow us to have a perfect grid. I think we place that down, get rid of this road for the moment. Let's also then get rid of these side streets. We're going to replace those ourselves. Turn anarchy off for this. Let's just go straight up and down. We want to have another road that goes from here to here. And I really want you to stay to that 90. Do not deviate from the plan. Now we have, how many squares are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 12 squares in between. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So this is going to go right here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Who am I kidding? At least for the gridded area, there's no reason we can't just do a little zoning today. Why not, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. And then I think we go ahead and get rid of this road. I know we just built it. It's not making sense to me. All right, so now we've got a little bit more gridded area here. I'm going to go ahead and begin to zone out this area. Now, what we have going on here, these are the UK low-density detached houses. I really like their roofs and just how those look as buildings, so I think I want to stick with those. I know it maybe doesn't make perfect sense in this area, but I don't know. I think they're really decent looking buildings. Let's go ahead and we are going to allow this to kind of do its own thing. Some of this zoning is going to be really large. Some of it's going to have to be small to fit in between other places. But people complain about not having large enough houses. I think we can solve that. And let's be real, in such a low density area, I'm probably going to change it. I don't have any feelings about completely deleting everything we just built. Now, before we go any further with Valley Street, I think we would be remiss if we did not find a way to kind of connect these two train lines up to one another. I almost want to like rework this whole little curve as well. It's going to mess up that train, but I think we can solve it pretty easily. I think. There we go. Yeah, I think that's just all around a much better way of connecting all this. And now looking at this, I think what I would rather do is I'd rather remove this double line. And I think we have the space to just go from here to here, right into here, and connect there. That way, we've reopened up this area for zoning. We can place back down these buildings. And we can place buildings kind of all along this back edge here. Really just move some more people in. Now, we only have connections over here. We're going to need some connections here. And I think one of those connections is going to fall right here. But I do think we could consider bridging this over this area. So what we're going to do is we're going to first bring a train straight on out. We're perfectly flat right now. I think. Yes, we're perfectly flat right now. We're going to send that straight on out. And I think we'll have another train station maybe stop right here or further along in this route. I haven't decided yet. With that train there, I think it means that the road can mirror the train. We'll go right next door, although that is not exactly what I was hoping for. Let's connect to here and go just like this. Is that better? Is that what I was thinking? What was I thinking? Do we know? Turn all this off. And instead, we're just going to eyeball it. But if I go like that. It's getting a little bit closer, but it's not terrible. I would think that having this bridge would maybe be the smarter move, but it's also going to be pretty low density over here. So I think we just cross over. I think we do it. Does this cross? No, because this would have to cross over 2 train tracks here, which we don't want to see that happen. And like I said, I think I've said this before, but where I live, there's a ton of areas where the train crosses level crossing, and it's totally fine. Sometimes it slows you down a bit, but honestly, it's probably a good thing. Let's send this guy straight on out from here. And we're going to send another road straight on down from here. Now, here's what I'm thinking. This is going to be turned into a glorified roundabout. So you'll come over, you'll turn, and you'll go around this area. I do think it means we need to consider what's going to happen right here. So let's go ahead and destroy this cul-de-sac and instead bring this up right to here. Connect it right in. This road is no longer a one-way once you get past that section. We'll connect almost all of them. Maybe do like every other. I would like it to be at a 90. That's great. And we're going to get rid of this little roundabout that's here, as well as that house that couldn't zone there. So now we've got some new houses zoning in here. This area does need its own district, and I think it kind of gives us a clearer picture of where things end. So this is Briar Downs. Briar Downs is going to end with the train track. I think that makes a little bit more sense for that neighborhood, just like so. And I think Elizabeth Crossing is actually going to expand a little bit to make up for the other portions we're deleting. We're going to send this kind of right along here like so, remove all this, and make this area Elizabeth Crossing. And look, that's called Elizabeth Street. That's actually adorable. All of this would need to also be included though, so let's do this. And just send Elizabeth Crossing like that with a strange little angle. It's kind of cool. Then this area is just going to go up to the train station and essentially follow it. Who's going to speak first? Jerome Easton. Okay, Easton it is. All right, so this is the little town of Easton. Now, I don't want to do too much more than this. I wasn't planning on really building out the suburban area, but I know we wanted some more low density, so I'm trying to make sure we add that in. I think this could be a really cute small town. We just got to do a bit more detailing and get a little bit further along there. I think one thing that would benefit us would be to, at least right here, maybe add in a tiny bit more cul-de-sacs. I don't know. It just looks like kind of the perfect place for a cul-de-sac or two. You know what I mean? Like, imagine. Picture it. Cul-de-sac. Bam, bam, bam. I mean, it looks perfect. And actually, you know what? It kind of gives us an edge here for where Elizabeth actually ends. We weren't too far off. But I think this now is where Elizabeth goes. It ends just like that. That's the new and improved Elizabeth crossing. All right, blocks are starting to get a little bit bigger. Houses are getting a little bit more spread out. We do have some traffic right here. Is it being caused by my buses? I think it's just being caused by all kinds of things. Oh, you know what? We have a ton of people moving in. There's a brand new area over there where lots of people want to get to their homes. It does mean that it probably would behoove us to think about some type of highway connection or something over here in the future. I don't know if we're yet there, but we are getting pretty close. Let's just do another check on our bus lines, see how things are going. Maple Street line. You still have some buses that are full. Like, for example, this bus over here is full, and there are a ton of people still waiting. How many people are at this stop? 376. Okay. Let's just make this 15. Obviously, there's a demand for some type of rail to go up and down this direction. I think that's something we can solve in the future. How are we doing with this next widely used one? 268. Oh, this is the external. Okay. Not worried about that. That's just going to be busy while people keep becoming homeless. All because of my fault. Like, I totally am causing this. This guy here looks pretty good. Okay, the rest of these look nice. I'm not mad about it. You have 10 vehicles for 100 passengers. You have 5 for 75. You have 3 for 68. Are you doing good? I mean, that's 23. You have 25. That's 24. You have 15. Yeah, I think that's working. Okay. Guys, I think that's where we're going to leave this part here. We just built out a brand new we just built out a brand new bus network. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I think what we'll do right now, we'll go like this. I'm going to take a screenshot of this area. All right. I now have a screenshot of this city top down. What I'm going to do is create a overlay of where our bus lines are. And then you guys can let me know. I'll put a post up on my page. Tell me what you think about the bus lines and if they're working or if there's any changes I should make. I do know we don't have one near Trafford College. That's okay. But I am excited too that we kind of started a little bit on Easton, got this area partially up and running. What we'll do is in a detailers episode, which is my members only kind of detailing series, we don't make any major overhauls in those series, but it's a bit more casual, not as produced. But I'll go through, I'll put some trees in. We'll maybe do a little bit of work here. I don't necessarily love that all of these are basically the same. Yeah, they're basically the same. But then again, in this kind of area, like this land was flat, someone came along and just went and plopped a ton of the same houses. And that's okay. That happens. But in the next part, I think what I want to focus on, I have an idea. It's going to totally change one final section here of Cypress, West Bend, and Sheffield, primarily Sheffield. But I have a thought, and I'm going to try it out next episode. So stay tuned for that because I'm looking forward to maybe saying goodbye to these train lines. I don't know. I'm thinking they might need to go. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end this part here. A quick shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the link in the description below to unlock custom emojis, loyalty badges, early access to videos, save game files, members only content, merchandise discounts, and more. And until next time, leave your questions, comments, and feedback down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.